Next up in my game of the week, we have the battle of the NFC West unbeatens. The Arizona Cardinals traveling on the road to Los Angeles to take on the Rams. The Rams are a 4.5-point favorite. This game is going to be played on Fox with a 4:05 p.m. Eastern Time kickoff. The Cardinals defeated the Jacksonville Jaguars last week 31-19. Now, I was watching that game, and I thought that Jacksonville was going to end up winning that game because Jacksonville ended up coming back, and then next thing you know, I changed the channel for 1 second, and Arizona won the freaking game. So, you look at Arizona, Kyler Murray has performed really well, especially when you look at what he's able to do with an improved offensive line. But one of my concerns is the offensive line. And it's not because I don't think the offensive line isn't good, but it's because, a couple of their starters are questionable to play in this game, Kevin Beachum and Justin Pugh. So we don't know if those guys are going to be able to suit up and play. So Aaron Donald, man, like, how are you going to game plan for him? If you're not going to have two of your best offensive linemen playing, what are you going to do to game plan to stop Aaron Donald? Because you can't let Aaron Donald dictate how this game goes, because Aaron Donald, are you going to try not to run his way? Are you going to try to run the opposite direction? Are you going to try to triple team block him? Like, what are you going to do? Because without Justin Pugh and Kevin Beachum, I think those are two significant losses, especially when it comes to matching up against a really athletic LA Rams defense that definitely I feel like could keep Kyler Murray contained. And I'm not saying they're going to stop Kyler Murray, because guys like Lamar Jackson and Kyler Murray are always going to get theirs. But are you going to try to neutralize how effective Kyler Murray is in the run game and force him to beat you throwing the football, not with his legs? Now, with the Rams off the line hold up against the Arizona Cardinals pass rush, Arizona, you look at Chandler Jones, he is currently in the doghouse right now in terms of leading the NFL in sacks. And you look at the Rams, they are second in the NFL, allowing the least amount of sacks per game. And they performed really well against Tampa Bay last week. They only gave up 1 sack against a very good Tampa Bay Buccaneers defensive line. So you have a battle between two good offenses that are really good at having explosive plays. Arizona is third in the NFL in yards per play, and the LA Rams are second in the NFL in yards per play. So which defense is going to be able to minimize how many big plays they're going to give up? Because you're not going to stop the Rams offense for having no big plays for more than 20 yards. You're not going to stop Arizona for not having any big plays for 20 or more yards. But my question is, are you going to be able to minimize how many of those big plays they're going to have in this game? Now, you look at Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford has been going absolutely crazy. Matthew Stafford's been balling, and so far he's been my leader in the MVP discussion, even though it's way too early for that. But he's been balling with Cooper Kupp, Van Jefferson, Robert Woods. We saw Deshaun Jackson appearance last week. Haven't really heard much of Deshaun Jackson over the last couple of years. He made an appearance. You look at the play calling for Sean McVay, man. Like, Sean McVay is cutting loose. Like, when you think of Sean McVay, you think of Sean McVay, who normally wants to run a balanced offense. Everything's pretty short, intermediate. But you look at Matthew Stafford, man, they're slinging that thing. They're slinging the ball all over the field. And then you look at Arizona, their secondary has performed pretty well. You look at Byron Murphy, he's really coming into his own. I think he's also having a really good year. Nobody's really talking about it. So this is an Arizona Cardinals secondary that looks pretty solid. And I want to see how they match up against the receivers of the LA Rams. But what I'm most excited about is the battle between this Rams secondary versus the wide receivers of Arizona. No offense to the wide receivers of the Rams and the secondary of the Cardinals, but it's always interesting when you see DeAndre Hopkins and Jalen Ramsey match up, because those are two physical players. You look at DeAndre Hopkins, probably the most physical wide receiver in the league, going against Jalen Ramsey, who probably is the most physical cornerback in the league. That's a really interesting matchup to watch. You also got to look out for cornerback Darius Williams, who is the second cornerback on the LA Rams roster behind Jalen Ramsey. He had a really good season last year, and I want to see who he's going to be matched up against, because the Cardinals have a lot of talented wide receivers on this roster. Look at Rondale Moore. Are they going to try to get him incorporated in this game? So there's a lot of wide receivers who, if you're the Rams, you're going to wonder what kind of personnel you're going to come out to try to defend these looks, because these Rams wide receivers, they're good, but these Cardinals wide receivers, they're also really good. So I want to see how they're going to try to game plan for that. Now, if you are Arizona, okay, you're going to say we have Chandler Jones and we have J.J. Watt. Those guys are going to be able to get pressure on Matthew Stafford and limit how many big passing plays they have, because a big way of limiting those big plays in the passing game is being able to get consistent pressure on the quarterback. So you look at Chandler Jones and J.J. Watt, are they going to be able to get to Matthew Stafford? Tampa Bay wasn't able to do it last week. Are you capable of doing it? Now, for the Rams, you have Aaron Donald. We know he's a freak of nature, but you also have other guys who are more than capable of being able to get pressure on Kyler Murray. The concern is, can you keep Kyler Murray inside the pocket? Because when Kyler Murray is at his best is when he's outside the pocket, extending plays or making things happen with his legs. So if you are the Rams, what is going to be your game plan for trying to keep Kyler Murray contained? You're not going to stop him. You can only hope to contain him. Now, the Rams' third down offense is currently the third best in the NFL. They convert on third downs 54% of the time, which is really important, because if you can have a lot of success on third downs, that means you can keep your offense on the field and you can keep the drive alive. Well, Arizona has the second best third down defense in the NFL. They only allow their opposing opponents to convert on third downs 25% of the time. I think this is a really important stat, though, keep up with. I'm not a big stats guy, but the reason why this is really important, because you look at the Rams offense, if they're not able to keep the drive alive on third down, then that's going to be a big boost to Arizona, because if you're somebody who's predicated on the big play, sometimes you can get too overly reliant on the big play. Okay, so for the Rams, normally if you're good in third downs, you're efficient offense. I feel like if the Rams struggle on third downs in this game, they could end up being in a lot of trouble, because then they could try to force the issue. So I'm really excited for how the Rams' third down offense is going to do against Arizona's third down defense. Now, Sony Michel is starting in replace of the injured Darrell Henderson. Darrell Henderson missed last week because he had a rib injury. He's still listed as questionable. We don't know if he's going to play in this game. I want to see if they're going to be able to get the run game going. I want to see if the Rams can establish the run game, because I really feel like if they can get the run game going, they can run for over 100 yards in this game, then they're more than likely going to end up winning this matchup. Now, I think that Arizona's pass defense is better than their run defense. I don't care what the stats say. I think that linebacker is kind of the weakness for Arizona. And I know Cardinals fans are going to get mad. You're going to be like, oh, we got Isaiah Simmons. But I really feel like if they can get the run game going, they can get Sony Michel going in this game, or Darrell Henderson, rather he plays or not, then I think that the Rams are most likely going to end up winning this game, because if they can run for over 100 yards, I think that's going to be really big, because then you're going to keep Kyler Murray and that offense off the field. And on top of that, you probably could say the same thing about Arizona, but Arizona is more of a pass-heavy team versus being a run-heavy team. Even though they have had success running the football, you also got to incorporate what Kyler Murray does with his legs. So the team I'm going to take the win, I'm going to take the Rams to win, and I'm going to take them to cover. I think they win this game 31-20. I think they're going to win this game by more than 10 points. And the reason why is because we don't know the status of the offensive line for Arizona. Kevin Beachum and Justin Pugh, they're currently listed as questionable. We don't know if they're going to be ready to go. But also on top of that, I really like the Rams secondary. I think the Rams secondary is going to be able to force a couple of turnovers. I know that Arizona has a really good pass rush, but if the Rams can establish the run game and keep this defense on its heels in terms of not knowing what's going to happen next, I think that could be a big reason why the Rams can win this game. So I'm going to take the LA Rams to win this matchup. You guys let me know who you guys have winning down in the comment section down below.